Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Tech Motoring. On today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at this. This is the official Ford J3400 or NACS 2 CCS adapter sent to me by Ford for my Ford Mustang Mach-E. We take the car out on a short road trip and give this thing a test and see how well it works. So make sure you subscribe and stay tuned, and let's dive in. All right, everybody, well, here it is, the official Ford J3400 2 CCS1 adapter for your Ford vehicles. Obviously, this will probably work on other CCS vehicles once that is opened up for those other manufacturers, but this is the official adapter you could get from Ford for free for a limited time, and I don't know when that time is. I know it's coming up very soon. You might have actually already missed it by the time you watch this video, but this is the one that you can get from Ford directly. You can now buy it from them as well if that free time has run out, but this is it here. We're going to dive into the box in just a second here, but actually I want to give you a quick glimpse of our first session with the adapter so you could take a look at how it went for us. And then we'll come back, we'll take the box, rip it open, show you what you get inside, and then we'll take a look at the adapter. All right, so we have the Ford Tesla, or J3400 is the proper name for it now, to CCS adapter. So let's go ahead, we're going to power off the car. Let's go ahead and run around to the Superchargers that we pulled in here and see how well this thing does. Over here in Knightdale, North Carolina, so we're at a version 3 Supercharger that is compatible with NACS or Ford vehicles or any other vehicle that supports the CCS. So we have the adapter here. So what we're going to be doing is taking just the standard version 3 handle here. We're going to be plugging this into the adapter so it locks into the adapter. Feels really good, doesn't feel like it's loose at all. And we're going to go ahead and plug it into our Mach-E. And let's see, heard a click. I heard the latch come down. We got a blue light here. So that should be connecting with plug-in charge, because plug-in charge is capable on this vehicle. We've tried it before. I'm hearing the fan spooling up here, and I believe we have liftoff here. So what I'm going to do now is going to open up the car scanner app and connect to our OBD dongle that's in the car, because of course Ford doesn't give you what the state of charge is, or excuse me, the kilowatt rating in the vehicle, which is still silly after all these years. And let's see what we have here. I think we are charging. Are we not charging? No, looks like we got red lights here. Oh, now we're back to blue. Something's going on here. This is weird. All right, let's try to unplug and plug it back in. Let's hit this button, cancel the charge. Take this out. Do the old Nintendo cartridge fix. All right, that went in a little smoother that time, so maybe it was just a little tight going in the first time. And let's see what happens here. Will we get communication? Because we should see this charging light blinking here. That's usually the indicator that it is charging. I'm not seeing it. Now, it did say that there was a fault in the charging station that prevented us from charging, which is weird. So let's hope this adapter is not defective, because that's going to be kind of silly. And we are not charging. All right, so why don't we do this then? Let's do it one more time. Hit that, unlock, unlock. Let's pull this out. Looks okay. Let's go ahead and plug it back in here. Give this one more shot. If this doesn't work, I'm going to try to manually do it from the app. Plug-in charge should be working, but maybe it's just not set up for this station yet. It's not working. All right, so let's try to manually enable the charging session here. So we are at 2D, so we can look at the stall here. And so what I'm going to do here in the app is I'm just going to go and find 2D. We're going to hit 2D and we're going to say start charging. So let's see if this kicks it off. Oh, actually, wait a minute. We are charging. It just started charging.
It just started flashing, yeah.
So I don't know if that was from me hitting the button. I think it was blinking before I hit the button. Okay, so it took a couple tries, but we did eventually get it to go. All right, so here actually in the Tesla app, we can actually see our charging session. So maybe me starting it from the app is what actually did it. So we can see we're at 28% state of charge. We're already up to 95 kilowatt, which is pretty good. This car only peaks out at about 120 or so, 125 maybe at the max. So we're really not expecting to see a lot of charging rate here today because of, you know, just because of the limitation of the vehicle itself. But 107 is what we're sitting at about 29%, which is pretty good for this car. So we are getting the full power of what we can accept into the Mach-E. Looks like we got a BMW pulling up right now. I wonder if they have an adapter, which I don't think they have that yet. But yeah, so we are pulled in. We are charging with our new J3400 2 CCS adapter from Ford. And yeah, this is great to have in our arsenal because, you know, this is going to open up a lot more for road tripping whenever we go on the road trip, since we do love, you know, this Mach-E so much for road tripping. But anyway, let's give this some time. Let's let the car charge up. I want to get some temperatures from this. It is kind of out in the sun right now, so I am curious to see how it goes over the course of this charging session, and we'll touch base with you in a little bit. All right, as you can see, we are already at 64% state of charge in 16 minutes. We're just down to 75 kilowatts now, where I think we're paying like 53 cents per kilowatt hour at this charger. So not terrible, but definitely not as good as if you were a actual Tesla vehicle plugging in, for sure. Of course, you could pay for the $12 a month membership to the Tesla, whatever it is, membership there. That gives you that discounted rate, which is really nice. But since we're not going to use this all that often, it doesn't really justify me to pay that much per month for that. Anyway, let's take a look at some temperatures of this while we're at it here and kind of get an idea. So here in the sun, yeah, 109. Let's get close to the car here. It's just over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's get down here. About 106, 108. About 107. So definitely getting a little warm, a little toasty, but really nothing I would be concerned about. Obviously, if we had the bigger battery Mach-E or the F-150 Lightning, we would probably have a lot more current going through it for a longer amount of time. So therefore, the temperatures would probably be a lot further in the red. Well, I shouldn't say red. They're probably all within spec. But yeah, with this being the smaller battery, we're not really going to have as much stress on that adapter. But overall, since it's in the sun, it's only a little over 100 degrees. It's looking pretty good. We're definitely not tapering as far as a temperature thing goes. Let's take a look here at our plug, or our car scanner app here. About 65 kilowatts, 65% state of charge. Really nothing out of the ordinary here. So looking pretty good. And yeah, so we'll see what we finish up at, and we'll go from there. So you can see just how bad the charging curve is on the Mach-E. We are now at 77% at 56 kilowatts, and we're already 25 minutes into this charge. So once again, not a charger issue here, but definitely a vehicle issue here. But overall, I got to say charging has been really good, charging pretty fast. The temperature of the adapter has actually been going down in the shaded area just because it's no longer pushing as much. Just a quick touch test. It is pretty warm here on the area that's, you know, in the sun, but honestly nothing I would be concerned about. I can hold my hand here and it doesn't actually hurt. So definitely not all that terrible, I would have to say. So really, other than the fact that the plug-in charge didn't work, which honestly I know this car works with plug-in charge because we've done it before with a Magic Dock Supercharger, but other than that, I really don't have any concerns as far as this adapter, as far as this whole thing working. You just got to make sure you go to the right supercharger for it to work properly. All right, well, we are at 86% state of charge. Really no reason for us to stay here any longer. All my business is done, so let's go ahead and get this taken out. So what we do here is we hit this button here to stop the charge.
we'll see this go around. We could then pull this down like that, pull this out from the vehicle, a little bit tight since it's brand new. And then we have this little lever here that we have to push down to get the adapter out. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, there we go. Adapter definitely feels a little bit warm. Let's go ahead and just hit it with some temperature here. So back there about 107, about 110 close to there, about 100 degrees on the bottom, about 110 towards the top. Let's get right on the top here. Woo, about 130 up top on the button, 120. Yep. And so that is about right. That is definitely about right. I mean, the temperature of this is pretty good considering it was outside in the sun. It's 87 degrees outside right now, so that seems about right for it. All right, cool.
All right, so that was our first charging session that we did with the charging adapter. So as you can see, we did have some issues with the plug-in charge working. However, it was not something I was necessarily concerned about because Tesla makes it really easy for you to activate it through the app. Now, plug and charge is activated on my car because I did an episode a few months ago where we went to a Magic Dock Supercharger and plugged it in, and sure enough, the Mach-E charged perfectly fine with plug and charge. So I know the car is not the issue in this particular situation. I also know that it's probably not the adapter at this point because we do activate the adapter. The adapter seems fine. It seems to be passing what it needs to. So it was most likely something either on the back end, on either Tesla's side or Ford's side, or maybe that particular version 3 supercharger was just having some weird communications with the pins that were supposed to send that information. There's a lot of variables there that can cause that particular issue, and we're not going to really dive too much into that issue because I don't think that's a fault necessarily of the adapter, and that's why we're here today to look at the adapter itself. Does it charge the car? Yes, and does it charge it successfully? And we're going to have a second video that you can watch in just a moment here. But let's dive into the box. Let's talk about the adapter and let's see what we get. So this is the box here. As you can see, it says Ford, our gift just for you, which is a really nice touch. I'm wondering if when you start paying for this, if it's going to say our gift just for you. But you paid for it. So they're going to have to change this box. I'm going to imagine they have to change this box. It won't be our gift. It'll be your payment is your gift to you. But anyway, let's just dive into the box to take a look. So we open it up, and right here at the very top of the cardboard box, we get a little bit of a paragraph here. And I'll read it real quick, and just so you can get it. Dear valued Ford customer, I want to personally thank you for being part of the Ford family and for joining the electric vehicle revolution ahead of the curve. The fast charging adapter in this box will unlock access to thousands of Tesla Superchargers, giving you more charging options. This gift is an expression of our appreciation for your loyalty as we continue working to improve the overall EV experience. See you on the road. Signed, Jim Farley, the CEO of Ford. And there's a QR code if you want to scan that for something as well. And yeah, really cool. They give you this little instruction booklet here. It's a very nice color, step-by-step guide to plugging in your vehicle. It gives you an example of the type of chargers you can use it with. It does not work with version 2 or version 1 superchargers. This is not going to work with AC charging, so you can't go to like a destination charger and plug it into that and then plug it into it just doesn't work like that. It is only for DC fast charging. So that's kind of the thing you got to remember, is that this is not going to be the one adapter you keep in your Mach-E for all Tesla charging. You do want to keep an AC adapter in your car as well, which is basically the Tesla to J1772 for destination charging, like if you go to a hotel and they have like Tesla destination chargers. So you might want to keep that adapter in your car as well for those future endeavors. So here we have the wrapped up Ford logo here. I've already opened this up, so obviously this is not attached anymore, but you got your Ford logo sticker, really cool. And on the back side, it actually just has the Ford accessories part number and everything, which is pretty interesting. So they actually just give you the bag that comes straight from like the Ford service or the Ford parts company. But this is the adapter right here. So obviously relatively small. It's a pretty, as far as it could be, because the CCS side is so big that you can only make this so small. And yeah, overall, looks pretty good. You have a release latch here for the J3400 side. So when you want to pull the Tesla adapter out of here, you pull down on this and that releases the little pin latch that goes up into the Tesla handle. Just like anytime you plug it into a Tesla vehicle, there's a little pin that comes up that locks it into your Tesla vehicle. So that is just a manual release for that right there. You also have this release here for the CCS side. So once again, when you go to do this at a DC fast charger, you're going to unlatch it from your car by pushing down on this button, which lifts this latch. This latch does appear to be metal, which is good to see as well, because this is kind of a safety mechanism in this case. So you really do want to have this made out of a pretty durable steel. With these being adapters, you don't want to, unfortunately, people are going to drop these. And I did notice that in the video. You might have noticed that in the video when I was going to unplug the Tesla handle out of this. It's a little bit tricky to get your thumb, or any finger for that matter, to push down on this latch while pulling out the Tesla handle. And then, you know, trying to like make sure you grab this so you don't drop it, and then, you know, grabbing the handle and then putting it back in the station. So you got to be really careful with these adapters because they are pretty expensive. I think this one's going to be going for like $250 if I'm not mistaken on the Ford site when these do come available. And so you do want to be careful with these. You want to make sure you don't drop them because they are a plastic casing. The only thing metal on it is that mechanism right there. And so you do have to be very careful to pull out the Tesla handle from the adapter here. That would be my recommendation. On the CCS side, you have just the proper CCS pins. So you have your 2 CCS pins down here, plus your communication pins here. You do not have AC charging through this. So once again, you can't use this with a Tesla destination charger or like a wall charger that's in your garage or anything like that. This is solely for DC fast charging, and that's all it will do at a version 3 supercharger. I imagine you can also use these at the version 4 stalls as well, but remember version 4 stalls have the Magic Dock built into them, so you really won't need to use your adapter per se. You could just use the one that's already built into the charging station. But the CCS side looks pretty good. Pins look really good. As you saw in the video, it was a little tight going in the first couple times, and that was just because it's new and it's probably going to take some time for it to wear down in the proper way, so this way it slides in and out a little bit easier into the vehicle. So I really wasn't too concerned about that, and you'll see that it gets a little bit easier in the next video test. But overall, I gotta say that's pretty darn cool. So let's jump over to the second time I charged with this adapter, and then we'll discuss my final thoughts.
All right, I think we're good now. So go ahead and put that into the adapter like so. Perfectly, it snaps in. Open up the flap. Go ahead and put that DC charge. Nope, puts down. Boop, like so. A little tight going in, but that's okay. There we go. And so now plug and charge should work. Let's see if it does. If it doesn't work, I'm going to have to look into this because plug and charge does work with Tesla Superchargers. Nope, we have a flashing light. Good. So plug and charge did work this time. So just kind of clarifying what I was looking at before when we were having issues at that last charger. Maybe there was an issue with that particular charger at that station, or maybe it's just something weird with the way my car was communicating at that point in time. Who knows? But either way, right now it is working perfectly fine. So this J3400 to CCS adapter seems to be working great today. Second time today using it. All right, so we are at 80%, so we are 81% actually, so we are starting to ramp down on that charging curve. So let's go ahead, we're gonna unplug it. So what you gotta do first is push the button against the car there.
Push this?
Yep, push that. That kills the connection. Push the button to release it from the CCS there, and then pull it out. It's a little tight. These things will wear out as the time goes. And then there's a little safety latch inside of here that you have to push down. So you want to make sure you push down. I'll hold this. It is a little kind of awkward. There you go. I got the adapter. You'll put back the charging handle. There you go. And there we are. That is the charging adapter. It's pretty warm. Definitely a little hotter than it was before. Let's actually take a temperature real quick because I am curious. Yep, 126 degrees, 120 degrees, 124, 116, 109, yeah, 115. So yep, being out in the sun definitely warms it up a little bit more, but I don't believe that it's within any type of danger zone, really. I think it's pretty good. Once again, we're not putting that much power through it considering what it's supposed to be able to do. You know, if you were to have like a F-150 Lightning or whatnot, that would obviously stress this a lot more. But
all right, and as you can see there by that video, plug and charged worked perfectly fine. You plugged it in, and within about 10 seconds or so, the vehicle started charging, utilizing plug and charge through the Mach-E, the adapter here provided by Ford, and the Tesla version 3 Supercharger. Now these look like they were probably a newer installation of the version 3s, whereas the initial ones were probably a little bit older. Not that that really should make any difference, but once again, things could wear out. Maybe the pins weren't making perfect connection in the adapter. There's a lot of reasons why there could have been some weird faults on that first charge. But overall, once again, we're not here to talk about necessarily the communication through the adapter, because we do know it works perfectly fine, as we saw from that second attempt. And so not necessarily worried about that so much as whether or not the adapter worked. Now, just to kind of give you an idea, the temperatures yesterday while we were charging, especially on that second charge there, was about 98 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit ambient outside temperature. So not only were we charging the car in basically triple digits, but the adapter was also in the sun, as you might have saw, which means the charger was in the sun, the charging handle was in the sun, the charging cable was in the sun, and we were able to successfully charge the vehicle without any type of issues while that was happening. And as you saw, I took some temperatures with the temperature gun. Yes, this got hot. It got, not hot, it got warm. 125 degrees or so in the areas of the adapter that were in the sun, which for a black colored adapter is pretty just normal. And black is going to absorb that heat a lot easier. It's going to absorb that sun. It's going to soak it into the plastic, and it's going to get hot. And so it's getting hot from the outside, and it's getting hot from the inside. And so you're going to see those temperatures. Now, it wasn't any too hot where I couldn't physically hold it. The adapter was holdable at 125 degrees. But once you start creeping into that like 140, 150 range, then things start getting too hot to touch. And so I wasn't really too concerned about that. And those were pretty extraordinary temperatures, especially for, you know, that area this time of the year. It is the end of June, and we were looking at, this is a big heat wave going on right now. And so that's why we were seeing, you know, 98, 99, 100 degree temperatures right there on 95 because of this current heat wave. So it was a little bit hotter than it normally is, but overall the adapter still worked perfectly fine. Now, two things I couldn't test was longevity. So the thing about our Mach-E is that it is the standard range battery. So it is a smaller battery. We pulled in the first time at about 25% state of charge, as you saw. So we basically almost maxed out our peak in the vehicle around 124, 125 kilowatt is what I've seen on that vehicle with the smaller battery. And so we have pretty much hit that. And then it starts tapering off pretty quickly in that smaller battery Mach-E. So the longevity test, I really didn't have a chance to try because the Mach-E will just start tapering down really quickly on the smaller battery, and the temperatures of the adapter will go down along with it. Now, if I had like an F-150 Lightning with the extended range battery, then this test would have been a lot more stressful on this adapter. But unfortunately, I don't have access to a bigger battery Mach-E or even an F-150 Lightning, so I couldn't thoroughly test the adapter as far as longevity goes. But I can tell you that in the 30 or so minutes that this was charging initially on that first charge in the sun, it did very well. And the second time when it was actually hotter outside, even though the session was a bit shorter, it was only about 10 to 12 minutes or so, that charging session was perfectly fine, but once again, not really a long test. Plus, we pulled in with such a high state of charge that we weren't really maxing out the charger nor the adapter. And so therefore, it's hard to say for sure whether or not this adapter can take long, continuous charging sessions. Now, I don't have a doubt in my mind that this charging adapter can do it. As far as I know, this adapter is actually designed by Tesla themselves for this application. and then it's being manufactured by partners of possibly Tesla or Ford or both. And so I have no doubt that this adapter can withstand everything that they claim it can take, because it's a first-party adapter and nobody wants to have their reputations hurt by a simple $200 product here. And so I believe that Ford and Tesla put their full efforts behind this, and I really think that this is going to do pretty well. Now, as far as will it hold up when you drop it, as far as will it hold up when you use it 1,000 times, well, that's really up to time to tell us, and people's usage. Some people will use this almost every day. Other people, like myself, might use it 10 times a year, give or take, and it'll probably do perfectly fine for me. But for those of you out there who use this five times a week, or you know, 12 times a month, or whatever the case may be for you, you might find that you wear out the pins a little quicker, you might wear out the casing a little faster, you might drop it more often, and therefore this might not last as long. But adapters are finite, they will not last forever, and as long as everybody understands that, then nobody's really going to have an issue with having to buy an adapter every once in a while. Plus, keep in mind that adapters are currently temporary, because in the future, most manufacturers, hopefully all eventually, will adopt the J3400 standard in their vehicle. So when you plug into the port of that vehicle, it will be the Tesla plug that's in that vehicle, not a CCS. So hopefully that adoption comes a lot quicker, and then we can all be happy plugging into superchargers or whatever chargers using that single plug, as opposed to this one or that one, or does this adapter work? Which adapter do I need? Which way do I need to go? We don't want to keep dealing with that moving forward. So this is the next step in the electric vehicle genre, if you will. So we're moving forward. So J3400 will become the standard moving forward, and for current CCS vehicle owners like myself, this will be the Band-Aid solution in place until this officially happens. And it's going to take many, many years for us to, you know, go through the CCS vehicles and get everything up to the NACS, or J3400 is the proper term, standard. But in the meantime, at least we have a solution for that. And I'd like to thank Ford and Tesla for making that solution possible. And of course, I'd like to thank Ford for giving away their adapters for free to Ford EV owners out there. So I appreciate that as well. And anyway, I'd like to thank everybody for watching this episode. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more adapter reviews. And I got plenty of adapter reviews, whether it be AC adapters, DC adapters, plus I'll be having more of these types of adapters to review in the near future as well. But anyway, I'd like to thank you very much for sticking with me today and watching, and make sure you subscribe, like this video, and of course, we'll see you on the next episode. And remember, welcome to the future, and welcome to Tech Motoring. We'll see you soon.